It began with a whisper, a crackle on the radio, a static-laden voice barely audible over the endless wind. "They're coming." The last transmission before silence swallowed the world. The apocalypse didn't roar. It sneered, creeping across the barren wasteland like a shadow with teeth. In this desolate world, where the sun hung low and sickly behind a veil of ash, Mara scavenged ruins for scraps of survival. Her eyes, sharp and wary, scanned the skeletal remains of a city swallowed by dust and decay. Buildings stood like broken tombstones, their hollow windows staring back like empty eye sockets. Mara's only companion was an old, flickering flashlight and the cracked radio that sometimes, just sometimes, whispered back. Tonight the air felt heavier, charged with something unseen. Her breath puffed ghostly clouds, the only proof she was still alive. As she moved through the rubble, a faint glow pulsed ahead, an unnatural rhythmic flicker, like a heartbeat. Drawn by curiosity and a flicker of hope, Mara followed the light to a collapsed subway entrance. The glow seeped from the depths below. Descending the broken stairs, the air grew colder, thick with a metallic scent. The light revealed a cavernous underground station, transformed into a shrine of sorts. Strange symbols, carved deep into the walls, glowed faintly with an eerie blue light. In the center, a circle of broken mirrors surrounded a small pulsating orb emitting the heartbeat glow. Mara reached out, fingers trembling. The orb throbbed faster, syncing with her own pounding heart. Suddenly a voice, clear, cold, and alien, filled the chamber. "You are chosen." She stumbled back as shadows flickered and twisted, forming figures, once human, now something else. Their eyes hollow, their mouths stretched in silent screams. They advanced slowly, whispering secrets of the world before and the darkness to come. Mara realized the orb was a beacon, not just a light, but a trap, calling the lost and the damned. Those shadows were souls caught between worlds, bound to the orb's pulse. Desperately, she grabbed a shard of mirror and smashed the orb. The blue light exploded into shards of darkness, and the figures screamed, an unearthly sound that clawed at her mind. In the sudden silence, Mara noticed her reflection in the broken glass, a flicker of something not quite her own. The whisper returned, now inside her head. "You carry the pulse." Outside, the wind howled through the ruins, carrying the faintest echo of the radio's warning. Mara knew the nightmare was far from over. The pulse was inside her, a living darkness waiting to awaken. As dawn broke over the ash-covered horizon, Mara stood alone, the weight of the orb's curse settling deep within her. The world was silent, but the horror was just beginning. And somewhere, in the endless ruins, the radio crackled back to life. "They're coming." Days passed, and Mara wandered through the ghostly city, the pulse within her a constant, restless presence. It whispered in the depths of her mind, a low thrum that quickened with every beat of her heart. She tried to ignore it, but the darkness clawed at her sanity, seeping into her dreams and twisting them into nightmares. The ruins were not empty. Mara sensed eyes watching her from the shadows, shapes flickering at the edge of her vision. The survivors she had hoped to find were gone, lost to the silence or whatever horrors had come before. Only echoes remained, echoes of footsteps, distant cries, and the relentless whisper of the pulse. One night, as Mara sought shelter in the hollowed shell of a library, the radio crackled unexpectedly. Static gave way to a voice, fragmented but unmistakable. "Find the others, the chosen, before the darkness spreads." The message was a lifeline and a curse. Mara realized she was not alone in carrying the pulse. There were others, scattered like stars in the night, each bound by the orb's terrible gift. Driven by a fragile hope, Mara set out to find them, following the faintest trails left in the dust. Along the way, the pulse within her flared violently, guiding her through collapsing streets and broken highways. It was as if the darkness wanted her to find the others, to bring them together, or to lead them into the depths. In an abandoned subway tunnel, Mara encountered a figure cloaked in tattered garments, eyes glowing with the same eerie blue light. It was another chosen, a woman named Elias. He spoke of dreams filled with shadows, of voices calling from beneath the earth, promising salvation or doom. Together they traced the pulse's origin deeper underground, navigating labyrinths of forgotten tunnels and flooded chambers. Each step brought new horrors, twisted creatures born of darkness and light, trapped souls begging for release or revenge. The pulse grew stronger, a beacon that drew them onward to a vast underground cathedral carved from stone and glass. In its center, a colossal orb pulsed with a blinding light, surrounded by countless broken mirrors and ancient symbols that writhed like living things. Mara and Elias understood that this was the heart of the darkness, the source of the pulse that had invaded their minds and bodies. To end the nightmare, they had to destroy it, but the orb was protected by the shadows, manifestations of their fears, their regrets, and the sins of a world long dead. Facing the shadows, Mara felt the pulse surge within her, threatening to consume her completely. But with Elias beside her, she found strength in their shared burden. They shattered the mirrors, their fragments slicing through the darkness like shards of hope. As the orb cracked, a deafening silence fell. The shadows wailed and dissolved into the ether, and the pulse faded, leaving Mara and Elias breathless, but free. Emerging into the dawn, the city seemed less hostile, the ash beginning to settle. The radio was silent once more, but Mara knew the battle was not over. The pulse had been quelled, but the darkness lingered, waiting for another whisper, another crackle, another sign that they're coming.